What's up, y'all? I'm going to tell everybody today that narcissists are terrified of exposure. Um, they are just not real people, and on many levels, deep down, they know that they are not good people, and they are very, 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 very scared of their true self being exposed. So the thing about narcissists is they don't live to their true self. They don't hold the true sense of identity, and they have no sense of self whatsoever. So all they do is put on masks and act fake and be fake and act essentially in a way that's going to get them the most attention or the most supply or that's going to get people to like them the most or something like that. And there's nothing real or substantive underneath. It's all just this surface level, you know, fake kind of stuff. And I guess you could call the mask they wear and the fake charms and the fake nice guy act, I guess you could call that love bombing. It's kind of the same thing. It's pretty similar, but there's no individual underneath. They have completely forfeited their individuality because they hate themselves so much and they carry so much shame and so much self loathing. They would rather have the egotistical delusion and buy into the egotistical delusions and believe this lie for a little while that there's somebody who really is so great when deep down they deeply, deeply, deeply hate themselves and they deeply see themselves as failures and they are very, 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 very unhappy people. It's why they are so abusive and so nasty. It's why they're so jealous of us, and it's why they're so abusive towards us. And look, when you really try to hammer them down, and when you're really like, hey, like you did this to me, you did that to me, you wronged me, you said all this criticism to me, you treated me like trash, when you really like get them in that kind of confrontation, they can't deal with that. So a lot of times what they'll do is just gaslight more and just it's your fault, they'll just like gaslight more and more and more in a desperation move to prevent themselves from being figured out and exposed, and because they cannot look themselves in the mirror and face themselves, so they will oftentimes gaslight more. They might get crazy. They might go into narcissistic collapse and go completely nuts and just get angry at everybody and just go wild and completely lose control of their emotions. Any number of things could really happen, but they are really, really, and I even see some narcissists try to post discouraging comments on my videos and things like that, because they're terrified of this knowledge getting out and this information getting out, and they're terrified that this scam they've been running on everybody is going to fall apart, and this fraudulent existence and the fraud they've committed day in and day out is going to be found out, and they can't uh they can't deal with that. They can't sorry, I'm gonna scratch my chin for a sec here. All right, that's better. But yeah, they can't deal like with that. They can't deal with who they are as people fundamentally on any level, so that's why I like trying to reconcile with them. On some level, it's going to require them admitting they are a narcissist or they are an abusive person or them admitting that they're problematic on some level. And they just can't do that, because they cannot face who they are and the egotistical delusion they carry in their mind. They can't let go of that, they can't let go of that complete ego lie and ego delusion they've held on to, because then it would have to force them to confront their actual true self, which they discarded long ago, their actual true self, which they deeply hate, their actual true self, which they are deeply critical of. And like, look, the reason why they are so abusive toward their victims is because that is self hatred that they have internalized toward themselves, and they project it onto their victims, and that's why they're so abusive and so disgusting and nasty and creepy people. And this doesn't excuse them from what they've done at all. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. They need to do the work and actually claim themselves and be good with who they are as people, but they did not do the work. So this is no excuse for the narcissist whatsoever, no way to have sympathy for them. I mean, there is no sympathy for people like that. There is no mercy for people like that. The hard sword of justice from God is going to hit these narcissists big time, big time. And, in situations where you try to expose them, they can really go crazy sometimes. And if they have power and influence and they're able to kind of hit you, they could really try to hit you hard. If they're not very powerful, they'll kind of just crawl away like a cockroach and just try to hide and try to like slither away like a snake and hide under something to hide out for a little bit so they can keep the lie and the delusion going. I mean, that's the thing is like they're not going to stop being narcissists. Maybe 1% of them will, but the majority of them are fully committed to this sin. They're fully committed to this evil, and they don't want to do the work to be good people. And the thing is, like, I have been a bad person in the past in my life in some ways. I've even had narcissistic tendencies in some ways just growing up around them, being in a family of them. The vampires bit me so much. Eventually, I became one of them for a little bit. But what I had to do was I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to say, okay, like, the way I was around some family members or whatever wasn't right. And I had to actually honestly examine myself, face myself down, and say, "Hey, I can deal with the fact that I'm a flawed person. I can be better." And the thing is, they can't do that because it's not just a couple of years or a couple dumb things when you're a teenager or whatever. It's a whole life. Like, could you imagine? You've narcissistically abused your wife or your husband for 10, 25, 30, whatever, X amount of years straight. You will not be able to look in the mirror and face yourself. Like, the thing is, like, they have done too much wrong that they cannot face themselves anymore. Like, they have crossed the point where they are not redeemable people. I'm sorry to say that, but like, not everybody is redeemable or repairable. Like it says in the Bible, those who blaspheme the Spirit of God will not be forgiven on earth or in heaven. That's what Jesus says. So, on some level, like, the good Spirit of God kind of has come to them, and they have rejected that and spit in the face of that. And it's the good Spirit of God that's within us chosen ones. So um, they have rejected that and essentially spit upon that. And yeah, they've taken it to a point where they are fully committed to evil. They are fully screwed, and they are not going to reach any kind of repair, redemption, or reconciliation. Now, for some of them, it is possible. For some of them, they didn't cross that line or go too far. But like the parents that were just terrible to their children again and again and again, eventually they cross a line where you can't be yeah, like, you can't, there's no redemption for that. And like, they don't want who they are morally or ethically to be put out there. They don't want that to be exposed at all. And at the end of the day, God will expose that, and on earth here and in heaven. And on earth here, like, their deeds will be shown, and who they are will be shown, and who they are will be exposed big time. And they are terrified of that day of judgment. They are horrified of the day when everyone will know who they are. And they don't want that day to come. They are just like, please don't. Every day they are stressing and freaking out, like, horrified that the world is going to know who they really are. And they are quite shaken because there's a big reckoning coming. Like, narcissists are being exposed, and guess what? Their kids don't talk to them anymore, whatever, or they have they have been divorced, or like they're like they don't walk away from this situation all right or recover. Like, their life really goes down the crapper big time. Big time after they get done with this stuff. And like, they need to suck the blood and the energy out of people. It's really gross and disgusting, but that's like on an energetic spiritual level, that's what they're doing. It's just like sucking your blood out of you, you know. They're just, by being all critical and nasty, they're doing that to give themselves this ego boost and to energize themselves. And to be living on that disgusting fuel system of hatred like that, and to be draining the love out of the good people, like, they can't, they're not going to be able to look at themselves in the mirror honestly and face themselves. And you know, exposure is going to come for them. It's going to come for all of them. And you know, it's just like, they're just like, please don't look at who I really am, you know, because they have the lowest self-esteem, the lowest self-confidence. It's all ego. It's all false confidence. It's all false self-esteem. Everything they show, it's all ego. It's all fakeness. It's all lies, you know. Their whole existence is a lie, and they don't want that exposed, you know. Um, and yeah, everything about them. So yeah, I'm probably gonna end this one here, but yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will catch you all next time.